And with that, certainly not least, but last before lunch, I see our Director General, Roberto Viola from DG Connect, has entered the room. Your department was mentioned many times this morning. And I think people will be quite interested to see how the work that you are doing and are planning to do over the next few years interacts with financial services, the financial services sector. With that, I ask you to come, and thanks for being with us again, because you did it before a few years ago. Thank you so much, Ms.
So it's past 12, so good afternoon to everyone, and thank you very much for inviting me. So I don't need to introduce myself. If I was, I hope whoever spoke about DG Connect did it well. In case not, I'll try to dispel any bad misinformation you have about DG Connect. So I will try to give you a bit of a where we stand and how we can work proactively, and I hope with mutual satisfaction with the financial sector. We are active in the whole spectrum of digital technologies, from something you might think is very futuristic, like quantum technologies, is not. If you think about, for instance, changing the encryption system quite quickly, including in the financial sector, adopting post-quantum encryption, two things that will happen tomorrow, like the European digital wallet. I think you had, in the last period, interesting books to read. I mean, from the Draghi report, the Letta report, the guidelines from political guidelines for our president, and then the latest, interesting bedtime reading, bit heavy, the competitiveness compass. I think it's good in any case. If you feel a little bit depressed that you are in an area where we only regulate, I think it's a good reading. So the first thing I need to do is absolutely to dispel the idea of the kind of commonplace that US innovates, China manufactures, and now also innovates, and Europe just regulates. I think you are demonstrating that this is not the case. In the financial sector, we have a vibrant ecosystem with many, many innovations taking place, and not only the financial sector, the pharma sector, and many other sectors where Europe is in the forefront. And yes, Europe is open for business, and this is the main message that comes out of the competitive compass. You might say, okay, good to say, but the proof of the pudding is in the eating. I would say yes, and so let's go through it now, this pudding, and I hope it's nice, with a nice taste and digestible. First of all, let me start a little bit reflecting on where we think the digital ecosystem will go. We have seen different generation of the internet. We have seen, more and more the emerging of heavy polarization around internet giants when it comes to the internet ecosystem, dominance in, for instance, in the financial sector of few actors in the payment systems. We have seen the bigger, the better in digital. We hope, from a European perspective, and we have evidence that this is not necessarily also going to be the future. And we hope that the future is much more diverse, much more, in a way, pluralistic when it comes to business solutions and ideas and companies that enter the market. And also, this goes hand in hand with the transformation of public services. We want to see less of a central state, more of an efficient way of dealing with the individual transactions, more of a business-friendly way to deal with companies and other entities. And this idea of tokenizing the state, it's really the leading idea that is in something that will be in your pocket, I hope, in a few months from now, which is the European Digital Wallet, and something we just announced, which is the European business wallet. Let me explain, because I just entering, I heard the comment, we don't even recognize identities. Well, maybe this is a bit extreme because all of us had to go around with the DG Connect product, which is the European COVID certificate. And as you have experienced, I mean, this worked well in everywhere in Europe, and 92 countries, 3 billion people in the world adopted the system, which now we donated to European World Health Organization as the basis for the European World Digital Vaccination Certificate. So we know how to do this stuff. And you in the financial sector, you know that our solution when it comes to trust are the best of the world. Now, I think based on what we know to do, we know best to do, which is, I mean, digital interoperable digital identity, digital signature, time stamping, and other technical systems that actually are capable to freeze an event, to actually miniaturize an event, a document, a transaction, and send it somewhere to be recognized. Being it in the financial sector, being the public sector, being in the business-to-business transaction, this is something that is now not only, I mean, part of a speech, but is a possibility that we are actually moving forward. First product is the European Digital Wallet. We have now frozen with the member states the specification for it that you can read on the internet. And next step now is to complete the set of standards that allow the wallet to function as your e-signature, I mean, app, your identity app, your possibility to display identities across a number of different sectors and applications, and also to link with the payment ecosystem. So checking in a hotel will not be, I mean, give me your paper that I do a photocopy, and then you say, is it okay? I mean, it's not okay. Or photocopies even a credit card. I mean, you will do it by just sending an identity token. So the number of applications are countless. We count that the system is full. I mean, you have seen already, there are national wallets, I mean, with driving license, other document already digitized. I mean, the European system will go live in the second half of 26. So it will be an app which will be in the pocket of 400 million people. So it will be an app when linked to payment system and other, I mean, ways of doing financial transaction will be a door opener for many companies that, of course, gain their visibility today through the access on very large online platforms. There are a number of challenges which are in common with the financial sector, making sure that these wallets are secure, making sure, as I said, that all the standards are there, making sure that the smartphones are all fit for this task, and people don't need to buy a 1,500 euro smartphone to make sure that the security is there. So I will not go in countless technical issues that we need to solve. Partly, as I say, 50% are solved. We have another 50% to go. And of course, we work hand in hand with the European Central Bank, because the brother, the sister, call it the relative of the European Digital Wallet is the digital euro. So the two are supposed, this is what is written in the regulation we proposed, and now let's see what final shape we will take, to be working together nicely. So the wallet will allow, I mean, whatever euro wallet to actually have all identification system also from unknown people in a way that, I mean, when doing transaction on the digital euro, identity is verifiable, verified, and vice versa. I mean, the digital euro will allow not the only payment system, but it's one of the payment systems. And also instant payment might be another one, or private money or crypto money might be another one. So whilst, I mean, there's absolutely no reason to think that one system will prevail over another, it's also nice to know that the more we develop the European wallet, the more, I mean, digital euro comes into the picture, the more, I mean, crypto money comes into the picture, the dominance in payment system could be something of a souvenir of the past, and there will be much more competition in the space. Now, the next one to come will be the European business wallet. It's slightly different because, I mean, a business doesn't need to go around with a smartphone, but it's an environment where we will oblige every single administration to actually, through a push channel, to send whatever they need to tell a company, and also accept tokens, I mean, signed document, whatever, from the wallet to the digital administration. Whatever it's a compliance statement, whether it's a digital product passport, or whatever it's about, I mean, statement about digital invoicing or things like this with the request to pay that, as you know, has been standardized. We need, and we are working on it, a single VAT identification of companies, single registry identification, and then here we go, the technology bonnet. The bonnet inside, I mean, will be the same of the citizen wallet. This has been announced as a flagship initiative in the European Competitors Compass. It's a very important tool to simplify the life of business in Europe, and we're very serious about it. So where we go, I think we go into a world where transactions, where compliance, where exchanges can be indeed tokenized. In the area of blockchain, I think we are not in the race to decide one system will be better than another, or the governance of blockchain should go in a direction or another. But also, I think we are posing a question that it's valid for public documents, and it's valid also when it comes to, I mean, what national central banks or European central banks, or in general, I mean, initial securities, is very relevant, which is which blockchain, what it means, what governance. So we have established, together with the member states, what we call ENEDIC, which is the European blockchain infrastructure, which is, of course, not replacing, I mean, many of the popular blockchains that are around, but allows public administration to issue tokens about what I have studied, or what kind of professional qualification I have, and this to be stored in the various wallets. I mean, and clearly this is something that centralized key management becomes very complicated, so they are fit for blockchain, and then the next question comes, who actually governs this? You can have a lot of faith in mathematics. This could be kind of solution going towards a completely decentralized way, even of management the state. Or you might have a faith of a more hybrid system, which is public management of the chain, and of course, relying heavily on mathematics. But these are things that we will discover as we go, but the important thing, the message I want to pass is clearly we are going in a direction of making sure that every single transaction in Europe can be dematerialized. Every single transaction comes with trust. It comes with standards that allow interoperability. The other element where I think there might be a bit of curiosity to know is the direction we will be taking in artificial intelligence. Now, here, of course, there are two strands. I mean, how we can help to make sure that artificial intelligence becomes a competitive asset from Europe. And the other one is how you make sure that the rules are fit for future and fit for purpose. On how to do it, I think what we think the role of public authorities should be is, of course, to promote, to help, to fill in the gaps where we see that, I mean, once again, the pattern in artificial intelligence is very similar on internet, the first, second, third generation, which is the large providers, the large online platforms, kind of dictating the show. I think, again, what we are trying to propose is, of course, I mean, happy that they invest in Europe, and Europe is open, as I said at the very beginning, for business, but at the same time that there are alternatives. And those alternatives can come, for instance, by use of open source algorithms, by use of intelligent brokering of financial or health data or manufacturing data by the actors in Europe and make sure that quality data sets can actually train models which are coming from other suppliers. We have 4 or 5 unicorns now in Europe providing good quality model, especially for business. And we make available top-level computing capacity. I mean, we have on the top 10 of the world already 3 supercomputers. Soon we will have 5. We call them AI factories. We have already announced 7 with an investment of roughly 10 billion euros. And we will announce very soon others that will join in to have a distributed computing capacity. And we have just announced in the competitive compass that will go with very, very large computing capacity in a model which is quite different from one you see from the other side of the Atlantic, which is a bit what happens with chip manufacturing. I mean, factory open to different customers to come in and actually train or fine-tune their models. So this we take absolutely seriously. I mean, we try to federate public money. We try to federate also lever our public money with guarantees in order also to raise private capital to actually increase the level of data centers, computing centers in Europe that is roughly 1/3 of what you see in the United States. So we have a gap to fill quite quickly, not only with public money, but especially with the investments that we hope to attract. When it comes to the regulatory side, of course, the first reflex one has in mind is the large array of criticism we heard about Europe over-regulating AI. I'm trying today to offer you a different perspective, which is the AI Act is a regulation. So there's no possibility for a member state, for a local regulator, for another regulator to issue other rules. This would be illegal in the European Union. And you know, in Europe, we have plenty of member states that are very active in legislation, plenty of regulators that every day wake up with another idea about regulation. And if they do that in artificial intelligence, they will get a letter from us. And I'm serious about it. You cannot do it. And now, the financial sector is very little mentioned in the AI Act, which means that most of the AI application in financial sectors are not regulated by the AI Act. And we will be very jealous to keep it like this. There are 2 notable exceptions that I hope also make this room relaxed about it. The first one is horrible damage, but it must be horrible, made by a chatbot suggesting crazy things to people to the point that these people is financially and mentally destroyed. But this, the attendances room, I think, is made of serious people, which would like to fight with us to avoid that so-called AI agents come around and suggest all sorts of things. You have, I mean, all the mechanism in place already through MiFID and other mechanism of transparency to inform customers. We have a regulation like MiCA that says, I mean, you inform about crypto investments, about the risk and what it is, and then, of course, people are free to make their choices. And we want to keep it like this. To avoid that people are trapped in something that can really seriously destroy their life, but at the same time keep the information to what is already, I mean, being established by regulations. When it comes to sectorial rules, again, those sectorial rules can come, I mean, in the security sector, in other sectors, but they cannot overlap or impose different obligations than the one that are in the AI Act. So questions about bias, questions about this are, of course, I mean, general questions that are already there. Of course, when it comes to the financial stability of markets, this is not for the AI Act, it's for other types of regulation. But for the general approach to the AI, this is the AI Act. The other area where I think we need to look carefully, it's credit risk rating, which is the only one that is considered in the financial area high risk, but the high risk, it's in the meaning of algorithms which use advanced artificial intelligence, so very large algorithms, having some sort of bias, which is unwanted or uncontrolled bias or hallucination. Again, I think it's in the interest of the sector that this doesn't happen. So we hope to really have a cooperative stance with the elements, which are not so many, of regulation which are present in the AI Act. I finish with cybersecurity. Cybersecurity in the financial sector has its own strength, but obeys to the general principle of making sure that the right authorities know about an incident and the sector understands the incident, understands vulnerabilities for being better. There's no gain to keep an issue of an exploited vulnerability in the pocket and nobody knows about it. I think the financial sector has paid an hefty price in the early days of cyber, where many actors were not sharing information. Now everybody understood that it's not for the reason of a blame or a shame to share the information, but to have a quick reaction. So we are more than happy to continue, making sure that, the rules are going in this direction, but also there are investment in security operations centers, investment, as I said, in next generation encryption, and in connected products that obey to standards. Also, when it comes to ransom, we need to make sure that there are more and more deciphering tools and computing facilities available. We also have to make a reflection collectively on how to trace better, ransom payments through crypto money, on how to make sure that there are objective disincentives for this kind of criminals to actually have ransom attacks. And all of this, more than going immediately to one or the other rule, needs a very, very constructive and informed discussion with you, with this sector. Many thanks for your attention.
Can I ask you one question?
Yes, of course.
Just one really small one. I know we've been lunch.
Questions.
No, just once, and I'm happy you ended on cybersecurity. One is, of course, the cloud computing certification scheme, EOCS, where there's been a bit of speculation to what extent there might or might no longer be any requirements of localization. Could you say anything about that? Because for this industry, that's been a big concern, because it's by definition a global industry.
Yeah, but this requirement, there's been a bit of scare played by all providers on this story. This was never really on the table. One thing is discussing about national security, which is the domain of member states. Another thing is to discuss corporate security, which is an individual decision of corporations. So that's, a certification scheme under our laws is voluntary. No one is forced to adopt a certification scheme. And the proposal on the table, let's see which future we'll have, has 3 layers. The financial, and there's even a fourth which is not regulated, which is ultra security. It's up to each individual organization to decide at which level is desired, whether the scheme, if adopted, it's suitable. So there's been a bit of stories around, which I'm happy to dispel. In terms of the financial sector as, the cloud in its end. We are worried that the cloud prices are going up. We are worried, that there are many limitations on building new cloud centers. We are worried about cloud portability, because also I observe more and more that the financial sector, not only the financial sector, is trapped with a particular provider, providing the whole thing, including artificial intelligence, and then it's difficult, to switch. So we try to make the experience of using cloud smooth and secure. That's our goal.
Thank you. And I wanted to use this opportunity to allow you to dispel that concern.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director General. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.